Kill me, I'm here! Kill me!
Hey there, this is Matthew Movies coming at you with my review of Train to Busan. Now, so recently I put out a video of my top 10 favorite zombie movies of all time, and in the comment section, several people asked me if I'd seen this movie before and suggested I check it out. And I had heard absolutely nothing about this movie. I had no idea that this movie ever existed. I didn't know the title, I didn't know anything about it whatsoever, other than the fact that several people had suggested I check it out. And, you know, I like to think that the people who come to my channel are intelligent people who know what they're talking about. So just based off of their recommendations alone, I went and watched this movie, and I just want to say thank you. Now, before I get into the meat and potatoes of this movie, there's one thing I want to say. There's one moment in this movie that I thought sucked. I thought it was really bad. It took me out of the movie for just a moment there. And I'm not going to I'm not going to do my best to, well, it's not even that I'm going to do my best. I'm not going to reveal much of anything about this movie whatsoever in talking about it, but if you've seen this movie, you'll know what I'm talking about, hopefully. There is a character in this movie that is cartoonishly bad. And throughout most of the movie, I find it to be an interesting element to the story. He adds a lot of tension to the movie that may not have been there otherwise, and that says a lot because this movie had a great deal of tension to begin with. I thought he was a very good plot device. I thought the guy who played him did a good job, but there was a moment in this movie where he does something that to me was like Snidely Whiplash, twisting your mustache, I'm evil for the sake of evil, and I thought it was going too far. Because up until that point, you deplored the things he did, but you understood that he was doing them because all he cared about was surviving himself. He wasn't like a person that was like, he wasn't like a serial killer out there to get other people. He just didn't care about anybody but himself, and he was going to survive come hell or high water. And then there's a moment late in this movie where he runs and he uses a younger girl, as basically a human shield, and it made no sense. It would have been easier for him to turn around and close the door, and then both of them would have been safe. He just did it to just do it. And yeah, he had shown earlier in the movie that he was paranoid about people because he didn't know if they'd been bitten or what have you, but it made no sense in the moment because literally, like I said, it would have been easier for him to turn around and do that. And if he grabs her and goes back, and if she fights him in any way, it could have put him at much greater risk in that exact moment. And I thought it was just over the top evil, and it took me out of the movie for a brief moment. That said, the rest of this movie is brilliant in my view. I absolutely adore this movie. If I was putting out my list of the top 10 zombie movies of all time right now, I would probably have this either number 1 or number 2. I loved it that much. I have seen a lot of zombie movies over the years, and this just blew me away. One thing I was, at near the end of the movie, I was thinking to myself, like, I've been watching a lot of Oscar movies lately. If you've been keeping up with my channel at all, I'm sure you've seen that. And a lot of Oscar movies are very kind of emotional films and make you like get emotional and well up or whatever. And when I sat down to watch a zombie movie, I thought to myself, wow, you know, that's not gonna happen in this movie. And damn it, it did. There is a moment at the end of this movie that totally had me welling up. No tears came out, but I was pretty upset for what was happening, and it was perfectly earned, and it worked great in the movie. It wasn't like overly sentimental garbage. It was legitimate emotion because I had grown to care about the characters that much, and that is a sign of a movie that is exceptionally well made. I thought the performances in this movie were great. There wasn't a single person other than the cartoonishly evil guy that I thought was super over the top, and even the cartoonishly evil guy, that was the role he was given, and he played it to the nines. I thought that the zombies were like the people who brought them to life, my lord, their physicality was so impressive. Like the way that they would go from being dead on the ground or like next to it to all of a sudden just like kind of similar to the physicality of the Google ghost person in the ring, and it was so well done. And then like the physicality of them, like them being injured or like otherwise sick in some way, but yet moving fast. And these are fast moving zombies once they are onto you, and it worked perfectly for me. There, like I said, there really, other than that one moment, there was nothing about this movie that I would change. I loved the character arcs of so many of the different people in this movie. Like there's a character who starts off as, you know, kind of a selfish prick, and to see where he goes. And then there's a guy who, you know, is kind of giving everybody a hard time and kind of comes off as a bit of a smartass, and to see where he goes and gets kind of like more sincere and emotional, and like the various relationships that come between them that feel totally authentic for people that would be going through these situations, because the way you'd be depending on each other to live, you just would the connections that would be built over that were just so realistic in my view, and so like pitch perfect. There was a moment at the end of this movie where I was like, oh come on, you better not, movie, you can't do this to me. And then when the way it played out was I mean, there's catharsis all over this movie. There's moments of like, serves you. There's moments of like, I don't know what you could, if you are a zombie fan, I don't know what you could possibly want out of this movie that you didn't get. I think it was that great. Like I said, great character arcs, great acting, really good makeup. The physicality of the zombie characters, story that was fascinating. I loved the concept for the movie's called Train to Busan, and for people who don't know anything about this movie, I'm not going to reveal very much about the movie at all, because as you know, I hate spoilers. But the majority of the movie takes place on a train that each car is getting infected as it kind of goes along, and the way in which they did that was so great. And like how you'd have like survivors in this car and then that car, and then trying to get to each other. Like, I mean, so great. I mean, across the board, I think this movie was exceptional. And like some of the effects too, because there's like explosions and that kind of stuff as well, and all that stuff was done great. I just can't say enough good things about this movie. Yesterday's review that I put up was Resident Evil: The Last Chapter, and I absolutely couldn't stand that movie. I thought it was a complete waste of time, a complete piece of garbage. And this movie is its exact polar opposite, where I loved every moment of this movie. I really want to see if I can find it on Blu-ray to play, on Region 1 Blu-ray to play it here, because I'm sure Region 3 or what have you. This movie needs to be a part of my collection, because I absolutely loved it. If you've seen the movie, let me know in the comments below what you thought. I'd be very interested to hear from somebody who likes zombie movies but didn't like this one, because I don't know how that's possible, because I thought this movie had it all. Absolutely had it all. If you are a zombie fan and you have not heard about this movie until now, and you're watching my review, I implore you to go get this movie, track it down, watch it, because if you haven't seen it and you like zombie movies, you're missing out. And once again, I would just like to say thank you to all the people who suggested it to me. I haven't gone through and taken a look at this, because at my previous video, to see in the comments, but all of you will know who you are, and thank you so much, because if I had missed out on this movie, that would have been a real shame, because loved it. Hit that like button. It gets my channel in front of people that wouldn't have watched it otherwise, because the whole YouTube algorithm thing it makes it look like people are interacting with me, which is what YouTube's all about, because then people will watch their commercials, and it makes sense. It's a good business decision for them. And like I said, hit that like, hit that comment section, and hit subscribe if you're new to my channel. I would absolutely love to have you be a part of the group of people that I get to talk to about the movies I love. And one quick thing before I go, if anybody is watching this and is a big zombie movie fan and has another movie like this that I may not have heard about that is so phenomenal, please hit up that comment section. I'm always open to checking out movies. as you probably figured out by watching my channel. And I hate to think that there's another nugget of gold out there as good as this one that I'm missing out on. So please hit up that comment section. Let me know if I'm missing out on anything. And other than that, have yourself a good day.